Hello again. Welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Enigmatica to Expert. So today, I was actually debating about starting a speed build or going ahead and doing this episode, and I decided to go ahead and do this episode, so we are going to have a speed build coming up the next couple days. But we are going to be switching gears slightly into a bit of tech, so we're actually going to be building a tech building for our next speed build because I need a place to do proper tech. And I kind of want to start into IC2 because I was looking at the quests and I'd like to at least try to kind of focus down some of these early ones, industrial craft, forestry. We've already got immersive engineering pretty much situated. We are going to get an arc furnace and we're going to do oil refineries and stuff like that later on, but that's down the road. It's all kind of just stuff we're doing for fun. It's not really tied to the quest necessarily. But I do want to kind of start focusing on these two. Now, forestry, we can set up a building in the ag area, and it would make sense. But IC2, I have an idea for that coming together. And, of course, it's going to start raining. But over here, I did do a bit of work between episodes. I brought out our fertile soil, and I made 6 plots. Okay? And over here, we have 403 stacks of Inferium. Now, what this is all Inferium Tier 1 seeds. All of this. I removed our slate and all that. I moved it over. And so I've got a Tier 1 field. And then over here, we've got Inferium again. Not as much by far. Right here. And then we've got our slate, basalt, and limestone crops right there. And we've got an additional harvester. I didn't make harvesters for this because right now harvesters are a little bit expensive for me. Once we start proper IC2, they're not going to be too bad because right now we just have a cold generator and a compressor. You know, that's all of our IC2 that we've got. So, but anyways, what I'm going to do, and I know this is a bit overkill. This is like super overkill, but because we're kind of going for that big farmland, right? And I love the way these look on the map. So, but we're going for this just massive farm area, this agriculture area, metropolis, if you will, of agriculture. So what I've decided we're going to do is this field is going to be all tier 6 or tier 2 Inferium. And then we're going to go like tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, tier 6. So eventually we're going to have 6 fields of Inferium. We're going to have way more Inferium than we know what to do with. And we're going to set up auto compression of this Inferium later. Not right this second, but later we are going to do that. Right now it's just stockpiling Inferium. And I threw a bunch of stack upgrades, or storage upgrades, emerald level into this so we can store 3,328 stacks. And a void upgrade because this is inevitably going to fill up. And I went ahead and filled out sprinklers because these things are crazy cheap in this pack. They really are. I did make more buckets though, so it did make that a little bit easier. But you can see in here, it's been running for a little bit. I have went ahead and compressed some of this because I wanted to kind of fill out our drawers because they were getting low on materials. And so I did fill those out a little bit. I've still only got the 3 seeds, but I did get a little bit of prosperity. If we pop over to the astral area, I went ahead and added prosperity to the second pick for starters. So you can see this one's prosperous, well established as well. And right now we have 1 prosperity shard in here. But I did just empty this out pretty much and moved it over, some of it over to the smith, so we do have that available in the smith and slotted in now. Also down here, another minor thing that I did is, and it's going to be night soon, I'm going to sleep, but if we pop down here, cloches were just too power hungry. So I changed this over. You can see that back in there, there's 4 sprinklers, and there's 3 rows of industrial hemp, and 6 rows of potatoes. I know this would grow faster if I would have done like potato hemp, potato hemp, potato hemp, but I think it looks better like this. Personally, I think it looks a bit better. So I did that with a harvester back there, and this has been producing a whole lot better as far as power usage and stuff like that. It's able to run, of course, full throttle, and we've started actually backing up on ethanol and plant oil. So, cloches are cool. They looked really good down here, but they were just too power hungry for the system to work. I don't know why I'm getting some lag right now. Like, it's like a little bit jittery. Could be because of the rain. Could be because these builds are starting to get big in this area. Let me pop over. And you know what? It could also be because of... let me Let me set this back to graphics fast, which makes the dome not look as good. But if we're not working in the dome, we can set it to fast. And then if we're working in the dome, we'll set it back to fancy. And then, you know, maybe if we're doing like base tour type episodes or something, we'll set it back up to fancy. But yeah, we're going to turn that down for now. Okay, so let's pop back over to this area. And what we're going to be doing today, you can see the farms have expanded a bit. And then there's like this little area here with the dark oak. We're going to be building up the walls on all this here soon, a speed build for the agriculture area. It's been a while since we've done one over here. It's been a while since we've been over here on camera much. So it's actually kind of nice to get back over here. What we're going to be doing today is actually probably going to be a number of miscellaneous things. It's not going to relate to any quest, but there's different things in agriculture that we had done in the last series we need to start doing now. First and foremost, I want to get into apiaries from Pam's Harvest Craft. These right here. We're going to need to get item frames, and we're going to need to get wood. That's pretty much it. So let me pop over to the storage building. We need to start setting up, once we start getting into tech, we're going to set up the viaduct system that goes around through the walls. And we're probably going to have another wall speed building episode here soon. It'll be next floor. Okay, there's 2. That'll get us started. And I'm going to go ahead and grab some conduits out. And what we're going to do, let's see, we've got apiaries, we've got the item conduits. I'm also going to need some kind of a drawer. Well, let me, actually, I need my bees out of here, sorry. The Pam's Harvest Craft Queen Bees. We need those, which are right here. These don't stack, but that's okay. So let's see, we'll pop back over here. And if you notice, I did kind of plot out the way the road's going to work. I haven't finished out the road, but I did kind of plot this out up to this point. And then it'll go into the city proper. And then there's going to be a path that comes up and along. Yeah, well, that path's not going to be right there. That was an old rough draft. But it's actually going to run up and go around like this and plug in. So this is kind of like a side road sort of thing. And then crops and stuff would be taken, in theory, they'd be taken here to the back of this building and dumped off. And then supplies maybe from the city would be hauled up to here. So, but yeah, so anyways, for our apiaries, I've got this whole little space right here, kind of leading up to the inferium crops area. And I'm kind of thinking this little area here for bees would be kind of nice, like do it up with flowers and stuff like that, is kind of what I'm thinking. Like this little space here. And we're going to do some stuff up along these like little hilltops, maybe kind of smooth these out a little bit because they're kind of jagged. Maybe kind of smooth them out, but yeah, maybe have these little mountains that kind of encircle this pathway that goes through. And so what we're going to do, let's, what if we did like a covered section here, like a little build, and so maybe the road would go, I need to get my Horn of the Wild. Okay, so maybe like a little path would run up to here, and this would be kind of like the bee storage area, and then we would have bees out in this little area, maybe put some flowers and trees and things like that to kind of have that outdoors little bee area, I guess. And we would have probably forestry apiaries and then rustic apiaries here, which we should probably go ahead and set these up too while we're at it. Let me pop back over. Not here. Okay, there's 10 of those. That'll be fine for the time being. And I'm not sure if I have any rustic bees. We'll probably have to go out and find some. I don't think that I do, strangely enough. And it's also possible I may have gotten some and then threw them down thinking they were, you know, confusing them with Pam's, because I've got a lot of Pam's bees, but... Oh, okay, here we go. Rustic bees. And all you really need is one of these to start, and you're set. I mean, because as the beehive runs, as the apiary runs, it just creates more bees. So, one of these and you're good. And what's nice is if we start getting into Animania right now, we'll be all set for Blood Magic. Because it's going to help out a lot with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up these. And bear in mind that these will boost crop growth if you have them near crops. We're not worried about that. We have sprinklers from Cyclic, which are quite effective. I forgot to grab my Horn of the Wild, of course. But let's do... And these clovers, I want to make sure and grab these. I don't think that there's an easy way to get them. Phytogenic insulator, we could. Okay. Well, that'll be down the road, but we're definitely going to get that because I need these actually really, really bad for a build plan I have, which we'll get into later. But anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to set up... We're going to set up our beehives kind of like this, our apiaries. And maybe something... I don't know, something like that, and have just kind of like this little beehive area. I don't know. It might change a little bit, but... And we're going to go ahead and throw in our bees. And might as well go ahead and throw in 2. It's going to speed up. We'll throw 1 in there, and we'll throw 1 in there, so they can start running. And then over here, this is the beehives that we're actually wanting to get set up, especially because these are the ones that's going to give us infinite emeralds. Let me figure out where I want to put these. Okay, I think we're going to set up our first 2 just kind of opposite this, sort of like that and that. We need a lot of these, but I need more leather, which we're going to be covering that this episode. We'll take care of that. Let me just remove that. We're going to put a conduit here, a conduit here. And then what we need to do is drop in our queen bees. And these, we're going to have to craft them in a little bit with bee grubs and royal jelly. So what we're going to do is we are going to need to make a crafter to handle this. Just an analog crafter would be fine. Let me make sure this is chunk loaded while we're gone. And I've got a few chunks left over now from this. So we're just going to use that. Switch is like ignoring me. How dare you ignore me? Okay. Yeah, we'll let that run for just a minute. And what I need to do is we're just going to get an analog crafter for this. Let me pop over and get that crafted up. And then I'm also going to want drawers, but since I haven't built this out yet, I don't know. And we'll be doing this, we'll be building this out on a speed build, probably on camera. Whenever we come through, we're going to be doing some miscellaneous agriculture builds here soon, because we've got so much area of the agriculture build. We need to start building walls. We need to start... we need to build this little bee area. We need to build out some of the other stuff that we're going to be working on this episode. We need to build the roads. We need to decorate. I mean, there's just a lot. It's a lot of space, and one step at a time. It's not like we're in any rush to get anywhere in particular in this pack, because we're not. We're not at all. But let's go ahead. We're just going to put an analog crafter here. And what we'll do, we'll run... This is going to come down. This is going to plug in right there. And go ahead and remove this for the time being. And we're going to say that you can insert an extract. Extract is on the green, insert's on the brown. Always active. Extract, insert. What did I do? Extract on green, insert on brown. There we go. And then the analog crafter, we're going to have to wait before we can insert the items. So we'll give this a little bit to run. Now, as far as where we want the conduits to go, what we're going to do is we're just going to bring them over here. I'm actually wondering if we shouldn't... No, I can't remember what the XNet recipes are in this pack. I remember they're not bad. We need compact. I mean, we've got a compactor. There's also the pressurizer that we could do it through. Even though my power gen that the pressurizer's plugged up to is not good enough. And then we need IC2 machines, which I've got some left over, but we're going to start into XNet before too long. We are going to be. XNet's easily one of the best item transfer mods in the world. And it's actually not too bad in this pack to get started with it, so we'll be doing that. But basically, I just want to bring this up to here. Like, say, right in here-ish is kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, right through here. So let's just run out our conduit line, which will probably eventually become like a big, massive XNet line that runs through all of our agriculture stuff. I don't know. But we might do something a little bit more interesting for item transfer across the ag area. I don't know. I've got to think about that. But what we're going to do for right now is we're just going to pump this into a crate. This will eventually be like a little small drawer system that handles like bee items and things. There is a little bit. There's a bee grub. Okay. Let me set the insert priority on this to like 10. For right now. I know setting it to 1 would do the same thing, but 10 is just the number I go to. So insert on green. And we're going to say extract is on brown. So you can see we've got a bee grub, and then we'll probably get a honeycomb here in just a second. Once that sends over. Okay. And so we'll let this run for a little bit. We'll come back to this here in a little bit. Well, actually, I need to set up this also. So we put that there, and we say extract is on green. It's always active, and we run this out. So we can fill up on honeycomb that way too. Okay, so the honeycomb's being drained out of this. I'm going to have to make some more conduits and run it over to these. But I can do that later. What we're going to do is we're going to grab out our bees. And we're just going to go ahead. Let's split these up. I don't know how many I'm going to need for sure, but we're just going to throw these in here. And that way they can start running and making more bees, making more honeycomb. And I'll plug up these. Yeah, we'll just dump the rest of those into that one. I'll plug these up to, say, a drawer. And we might keep like a stockpile of bees on hand, maybe set up a drawer for storing the bees, but we'll see. So, but we'll let that run for a little bit. I'm not going to worry about setting up the drawers right this second, because I need to figure out how I'm going to build this area out. I just need this stuff to start coming in. And if we take a look, this we can use, of course, for making honey, for making mead, which we'll start doing before too long. That's brewing. We've covered brewing in a lot of episodes or a lot of series. We're going to cover it again. We're going to do a bit of it just because it's fun. We can also get forestry honey this way instead of needing to go for the honey drops from forestry. So there is that. We can use it for making elixirs of regeneration. And I was thinking that if we squeeze out the honey, we can make Enigmatica honey. Yeah, bottles of honey from Enigmatica. I think we could bottle those with and use this system. So we'll probably do that over here too. And maybe opposite it, we have this little space here. Wouldn't it be kind of cool to make like a little like brewery? So we make like mead stuff over in this area with the crushing tub and all that. And then our bees are all set up over there. And then maybe have the bees out through here. Maybe not do forestry bees in the same area, but put the bees out in here and there. And then maybe have like some grapevines planted over in this area. I don't know. I feel like I'd want more grapevines. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. But I think that would be kind of cool because this is going to be like the pathway that leads up to the Inferium. It's going to be kind of a bigger path. I don't know. It just seems like a good like main thoroughfare that kind of runs between these mountains. I think it's going to be pretty cool once it's all done. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to start looking into Pam's traps. The ground trap, water trap, which we're going to have to automate baits. Let's see. Which for right now, it may not be fully automated. It might be something that I just come in, I throw in, bait. And what we're probably going to do, which eventually we'll fully automate it, but I can make up a lot of this bait. Or not really make up. I'm going to go farm a bunch of, like a plot of crops, throw it in a hopper that goes to a presser and makes the baits for us, and then makes the juices. And then later on, once we have automated farming, because this is all manual farming. It's going to stay manual farming. But once we make the automated farming area, which we'll be working on before too long, we just have to speed build out the area. Then we're going to have it fully automated. And then whatever system I use for wireless item transfer, because my base is too big for running conduits everywhere, or even XNet. Well, XNet wireless system would work pretty well. But I think what we're going to do, I'm trying to find a perfect spot for this, because what I have in mind for the traps, instead of just having them sitting on the ground somewhere, I'm thinking about digging kind of like a spot in the ground that's going to serve as kind of an animal trap. You know, like instead of just setting them somewhere, it would be like a place where animals would go and they'd kind of fall into like a pit. We're capturing like chickens and pigs and sheep and cows and stuff in our animal pits. And maybe even somewhere a little bit set back away from... let's see, if we did it over here, would probably work okay. So let me just... I'm not going to dig it like super deep, but I think like 3 deep would be pretty reasonable. So something like this, and I'll expand it out. And I've got some ideas. I need to see... I don't know if I have to make them with chisels and bits, or if there's some kind of... maybe just the wooden spikes would actually probably work out well, but like ring the top of it with the wooden spikes, or the bottom of it. I don't know. Well, probably not the bottom, because we'll have the traps down there. I don't know, something. We'll ring the pit, probably the outside, like the upper outside, with like wooden spikes. So it's kind of like an old animal pit, like for catching game and stuff. Which I think is like illegal now. I think that's like poaching or something. I don't know. It's not poaching, but I don't know. I don't know what it's called, but I believe it's illegal to do that. So don't do this in real life, of course. But let's see. Let's go ahead. Let's pull up the trap. And this is going to be ground traps that we're going to be setting up first. Or for this. And we're going to do... for right now, I'm going to put like one here. And then I'm going to put one here. And we'll, like I said, we'll expand this out a bit. And then I'm going to do, say, one here, one here. Or maybe have multiples. So maybe eventually this one will be specialized with grain bait. This one will, then another one will be specialized with fruit bait. Another one with veggie bait. I don't know. We'll see. This will be another thing we quickly speed build out. It shouldn't take that long, I shouldn't think. But maybe have a few of these out here for like catching our animals. Could I put one in the middle? Would I have like a perfect... I don't think I'll have a... No, I won't have a perfect spot in the middle. Like this. If I pushed them out... Yeah, let's push them out. I kind of want one in the middle too. No, I want to keep this one here. Basically just push it out one more and then have one right there, I think. Okay. So like that for right now. And then we'll shape it up and we'll add the wooden spikes and everything to it. Okay, so our ground traps... There we go. There's 5 of those. And then I'm also going to want a couple things here. I'm going to want a grinder. Actually, I'm going to want 3 grinders, in fact. That's standard. Okay, I've got sticks. All right, let me pop over and go make that. Okay, so there's our grinders. And then I'm also going to want a hopper, and I'm going to want some conduits as well. It's like every time I gotta craft anything, I've got to teleport around so much. It's crazy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really, really fun on this pack setting up an AE2 system. And it's going to be like a personal challenge to automate lots of things and keep everything chunk loaded in a base of this magnitude. Because this base is getting huge. And actually for right now, we're going to store this into a crate in this one as well. All of our outputs until we set up a drawer system which I don't think there's going to be a drawer system set up where the traps are because it wouldn't make a lot of sense. So it's probably going to have to get sent off somewhere else. But I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. And this is F9. Oh, wow. That's like perfect. Okay. Well, let's load this chunk. There we go. And we'll go ahead and set up our ground traps, which it hasn't fully spread the grass just yet. So it might take them a second to register everything. But let's go ahead and just dig down. There's one ground trap. There's another. Alright, so what we're going to do, let's go ahead and just attach our conduits like that. And for right now, I'm going to have it pump out over here. So we'll just dig this down. Alright, and then we'll connect up. There we go. And I'm going to put this above ground just because I'm not going to hide it because it's only temporary, sort of, for us to have it pumping out here, right? I kind of want it to go somewhere else. You know, on the last time with Enigmatica, we did it all with XNet, but it was actually really, our agriculture area was super compact, right? In comparison, it was actually a fairly large area. But now we're pretty much taking over like multiple biomes for our agriculture area, so I've got to do things a little bit different for our agriculture stuff, and I've got to figure out how I want to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this set to insert on the green channel. We're going to pop down here. Look, animals are already falling in my pit. They know what's up. We're going to say extract is on green. It's always active, and then you can insert on red, and I believe this will work, but we'll have to see. I can't remember. Extract's always active. But I want to say, doesn't it take the bait and we had to like change things up a little bit for this to be automated? I can't recall. We'll have to see. And it may be changed with Pam's now. I don't know. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our grinders like here, here, here. Let's pop over now, and to make our fruit bait, probably the best thing is going to be like some kind of a berry. There's something there that doesn't exist. Because I know I've got some of the berries planted. I just got to find the things. Because this isn't really like organized in any particular way. It's more for decor purposes than anything. We've got blueberries. I think blueberries would be able to work, right? So, yeah, there's blueberries. Okay, let's just, I think I need a magnet, a ring of magnetization. Oh yeah, this blueberry patch is going to be plenty to fill up the hopper. I'm not even going to have to farm all of this, I can already tell you. See, we don't even need a magnet ring. We can just, we harvest enough that it doesn't matter if we miss some. So there we go. We've got blueberries. And I've still got a bit of the patch left. I mean, this patch is like, at this point, you can come here and you can farm up, like a few, like, clean out that field, for example. Then you've got enough, like, say, blueberries to make blueberry pancakes for a while. So, you're pretty well set. Let's toss that, I made grinders and not pressers, oh my gosh. Grinder I would use for, like, cinnamon and nutmeg to make bites. And I guess I was looking at that and not thinking. Pressers are pistons and iron. Okay, 1 second. Alright, but there's our pressers. Okay, now I've got the right machine for the job. Alright, so let's set up our pressers. Fruit grain. Okay, fruit grain veggie. And then we should just be able to toss in that. It's going to start running. These don't require power or anything like that. And that's going to start making blueberry juice and fruit bait. And then we'll let that run for a minute, and then we'll set filters and see how this works out. Then what we're going to do is for the veggie bait, I think it's like most anything. Actually, it's just carrots and beets, really, that we've got out here. Which I will say I don't have every single crop planted yet. But I've got a lot of them. I need to actually just get a scythe. Just make like a good scythe to harvest all this. But you know, you would think that I would be tired of doing agriculture, like doing all this stuff by hand, like having to garden. But I've got to be honest, I've actually enjoyed it in a way. Like, there's something really enjoyable when you don't just go, okay, well, I've got infinite of all these crops. Like, it's actually a little bit more hands-on whenever you go to make food and stuff. It's been really, really nice. We can do tea leaves for this. Let's take a look at the grain bait. I think it's like pretty much cooking oil for whatever we do. Unless we do soybeans, then we get the silken tofu. Yeah, I'd say a bit of cooking oil would be nice to have. And here soon, we've got to start, I think the first thing we're going to start automating from agriculture is we're just going to automate all the cooking ingredients. So we have cooking oil and all that stuff. Have you followed me from that other area? It's like the same zombie or something from way over there on the other side of the field. But we're going to automate like cooking oil and ketchup and mustard and all that stuff here soon. Because don't forget, one of our objectives in this is to automate all the foods. Once we get to 82, of course, not not just like machine setup. So that might be interesting. Just have like, oh, I don't know. That would be kind of cool doing it without 82. So it's just stored. Like we've always got like a drawer full of every type of food. Like the ultimate kitchen or something. I don't know. Maybe. That sounds kind of fun, actually. Like, even, like, pre-82, in a way. Okay, well, I've got enough tea leaves. Let's pop back over. I don't know. We might start into that. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Should we do it without 82? Because, in a way, that sounds kind of fun. And just have a drawer filled with all the different foods at a time. Okay, the veggie bait was carrots. We'll go ahead and throw those into there. The grain bait was the tea leaves, and we'll go ahead and throw those into there. And I mean, you're talking about a lot of runs of the trap. Just, you know, one harvest, go get 6 stacks of tea leaves. It's going to take a while to run through that. Okay, so we've got grain bait, we've got veggie bait, we've got fruit bait. We'll go ahead and grab those. And then I'm going to need to get a filter real quick. And actually, by the way, that is outside of that chunk. So let me go ahead and just load this chunk also. There we go. And I just want just a default Ender IO filter. It's going to take a hopper. That's fine. And basically the reason we're doing this right now is because I need more leather coming in so that I can make more beehives, so that I have more emeralds, so I can make more prosperity shards to make more seeds. Is basically the point of all this. But I mean, it's also because we need to start getting some of this stuff set up, infrastructure more than anything, just so we've already got a place placed out, right, for the trap, so we can build out that little. It's a very small build. It's going to be really easy, but we can kind of build out on that as part of a speed build episode. Because we've got to start turning some attention back towards agriculture, because we've been away from it for a little bit, and we're kind of slipping behind. So really, I should already have food and stuff automated at this point. But yeah, I don't know. I think we might start working on the ultimate kitchen. I mean, we've got the small kitchen build, which is great and everything. That's all well and good, but I think we might start working on like an ultimate kitchen build. Let's say blacklist these 3 baits. So if I inserted here on the side, now it's inserting cooking oil, but that does mean that it's working right. So what I'm going to have to do is either make more filters, because cooking oil is not going to do me any good with the animals, but it can insert the things that we don't want it to insert. Well, actually, we could probably just set the priority on this up. Okay, yeah, what I'm probably going to have to do is extract will be on the, say, the black channel. The only thing is then if I don't have a filter on this one too, it's just going to dump it all in here. So we're going to say that you can insert on black, but I'm going to have to make one more filter real quick. I couldn't remember those traps. I can never remember what exactly. I remember that they're kind of finicky, but I can't remember exactly why until I start messing with them. Okay, so we'll grab one of each. We'll throw these to the filter. We're going to say blacklist, and it's going to be fruit, grain, veggie. That's what it is. It's the bait is in a different slot. There we go. You have to pull out the bottom, pump in the top, in the side. Okay. So we'll do that. But the bait is handled by the side slot, whereas the bottom... Okay. Alright. I can never remember how these are laid out. Okay, so they should all be plugged up now. They should be running and all that fun stuff. Then I can do that, which we'll have to facade the top of that. But otherwise, it's good. It's in a good spot. If we look in here, we've got raw chicken, raw duck, turkey, bones, leather, and eggs. So if leather starts to build up, then we can make item frames and make more apiaries. And then we've kind of come full circle. Oh, and it doesn't make the royal jelly. It makes the queen bees. That's right. There was a time, I think, whenever it made royal jelly, but now all we need to do is just cycle our bees back in. So we don't actually need the crafter in that case. My bad. I'm all over the place right now. I apologize. It's been a little while, I guess. So we're just going to say inserts green, extracts green, inserts green. There we go. And I believe, like, if I try to dump grass in there, it's not going to go in there. It's only going to accept the queen bees. So basically, they just cycle back through, and we're going to set the priority on them to, like, a 5. And then if we were to set up drawers, we just wouldn't add a drawer for a queen bee because they never duplicate with the Pam's Harvest Craft bees. So we'll go ahead and put that back. And then I'm going to set another beehive. Well, actually, I'll probably skip that and put a beehive here and then go up here. So, but yeah, so that way we're getting in honeycomb. And then what we can do is we can take this honeycomb, pop over to the kitchen. And where last episode I was having issues with getting the emeralds that we need. Honeycomb, sale. There we go. We got a free emerald. And bee grubs, the empty honeycombs, all that stuff works, as well as the meat that we're producing from the ground traps. Okay, I went ahead and whipped up some facades, and I went ahead and dug out 2 more pits. Because, of course, we're going to have one that's specialized for each bait. So I just went ahead and dug those out. I mean, they're the same dimensions and everything. They may get a little bit more shaped up. But there's one block in particular, and these aren't ran at the moment. Like, there's a hole here, but it just leads to this. These aren't plugged up. They're not going to be plugged up until we do the final setup once we have the building that we need to actually run these. But we're going to go ahead and just facade them. And then over here, which I may come back through and add like filters or, you know, something. We'll see. Maybe change up the conduit colors. But that's easy enough to do once we figure out a more permanent setup. Because actually one of the projects that we're going to be working on, I've actually been brainstorming for, it's been about a day since the last cut. Not on here, but, you know, just off and kind of getting some general ideas, sketches, that kind of thing. Kind of what I'm thinking is, you know, we mentioned before, we're going to have a big, I don't know, kitchen type thing, and we're actually going to be going for automating all the foods and not just like 1 or 2 foods within Pam's and throughout the mod pack itself, because there's, you know, other types of food outside of just the Pam stuff. And so what I'm thinking is we're actually going to have a big, almost, I don't know, it's going to be kind of like an industrial building. Like, not industrial, but like as in size industrial. We're still going to keep with kind of the theme of the area, which of course is agriculture out here, and then kind of magical stuff back in here, but maybe something a bit larger scale than the buildings we have so far. And we're probably going to situate it about in this area, maybe. And it's going to have actually like a shipping receiving area, and it's going to send food then out to a kitchen inside of this base as well. So we'll store food inside of that and over there, as well as have food storage in this building. So we'll kind of have like 3 food storagey areas. But this one is more like a small kitchen area for the workers. This is more like large scale production, which is going to have our automatic farms in it. And then we'll have everything kind of sent from various places. Like this is still going to be automated here. That's still going to be automated here. This stuff's going to be automated. And then we're going to have more magical crops back through here. And a few other little automation setups throughout. And then we'll have this big farm where we have kind of our dense Pam's farm set up. And I've got some ideas. I think it's going to work out nicely inside that building. Because like I mentioned before, these are more just decorative. These will never be automated. So I think we're either going to start that speed build next episode or the tech. I say tech, but where we're going to do IC2. One of those 2 next episode. I haven't really decided which one I want to focus on first. I think the agriculture stuff would be kind of fun, but the tech would also be pretty beneficial to us. But we'll see. But I do think I am going to automate it outside of AE2. We're not going to have it included in our AE2 because it'll add a lot of clutter to the AE2. And if you ever played around with AE2, when you have a lot of stuff automated, a lot of things going on with AE2, it does tend to get a little bit heavy and a little bit laggy. So what we'll probably do is have a storage bus maybe that connects over to the big storage building, like the one that goes in here. But like the big, I say storage building, it's going to be more like a big kitchen, like a grand kitchen. Like that's kind of a small kitchen that's over here, but kind of a grand kitchen that you walk in and there's just everything you could ever want to eat from the mod pack is laid out in some form or fashion. I haven't decided. It's a lot of food. It's going to be like 1,000 different meals or something. But yeah, and then we'll start automating all the ingredients inside that building, automating all the crops in that building, and just have this big processing chain of things that goes on, I do believe. So I think that's probably where we're going to end out this episode, because I got my bees set up, I got my leather, and that way I've got my leather to make more bees, to make more emeralds, to make more prosperity shards, to make more seeds for building. It's basically the chain of things that we've completed. So it's kind of a chain of things. One block that I do need, I was going to speed build out these pits just really, really quickly because it's not going to take very long. But there's one very key block that I need to really do that the way that I want to. And that is I want ethereal opaque mimic blocks from Blood Magic, which I'm going to need to get large bloodstone tiles, which is going to require that we get up to a tier 3 altar to do that. So there's a little bit to that. We don't have time this episode, so we're not going to dive into that. But that's okay. We'll get to that. We're going to have like a general speed build coming up for this area, and then we've got a lot of speed builds coming up probably. So anyways, I am going to end out this episode here, and we'll get started on some big projects. This was kind of like a changing focus sort of episode where we're kind of starting to move back into some agriculture and back into some tech and kind of break away from magic that we've been on for a while. So, but we'll get started on that in the next speed build. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care. Stay safe. I'll see you guys then.